So do you test every day or you just go wait till you feel better? Do it that way.
I'll test before I have to go back to work.
Okay.
He has his own company, so it's different for him, but
Yeah.
um, I have to be fever free and all that jazz.
Yeah. Well, did Aaron say you've had it before, right? Is that what I
We both Aaron and I had it together in October of 22.
wow.
We were both out for the week. Yeah.
Yeah, knock on wood, we've managed to avoid it. I don't know how, but
This was the first time my husband's had it. He skated all these years.
was he very sick?
He had different symptoms than me. His fever was over 102, and he had
Wow.
a really sore throat. Um, I didn't have that, but I'm more congested and completely exhausted.
Yeah, it's weird. Everybody seems to get different.
I know. I don't know why I'm really here. I don't know why my camera doesn't work when I'm home.
Does it work for other things?
No, it works if I'm in work with the camera attached to the computer, but when I'm on the laptop alone, it
Oh,
used to work. Now I don't understand. It's just black.
interesting.
If I take off the photo, it's just black.
Interesting.
It's all right. It's a great headshot.
Yeah.
Hi, Maria. Are we expecting Martin and Anna? Not,
I haven't heard from Martin at all. Anna said she wouldn't be at the walk, but she would be at the meeting, and I don't
Okay.
recall hearing from Martin.
okay. There's Martin and Anna. Okay. Yay. Looks like we're here. All right. So we'll get started with the March 4th, 2024 meeting of the Madison Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Agency. We have myself, Kayla Freidenberg, Tom Clancy, Lee Schumacher, Martin Brogy, Joe Bordeaux, and Anna Loss as our members. And our first agenda item is a public hearing that we opened last month, 23-68, 454 Horse Pond Road. And I believe this is going to be continued to April 1st. Do we need to open it and
Well,
talk about it? Or is it open? So
It's already open, yeah.
right. Okay. So this was a extension granted to the applicant. We are within the allotted time for this, so I will make a motion that we grant the continuance of this public hearing to April 1st, 2024.
Second,
All right. All those in favor? Raise your hand, say aye.
aye,
Okay.
aye.
All right, and this is to give the applicant time to respond to our third party
Yes.
report, which will make for a productive hearing. Okay. Moving on, we have our pending applications. We have 24-04 64 Surf Club Road. And we did a site walk for this on a Saturday. And I assume we have someone from the application to talk
Yes, I
about this.
just promoted Stantec. I don't see Austin, but I see Kent from Stantec here.
All right. Hi.
Kicked off there for a second. So I was joined as a panelist. So you want me to give a quick overview? I can share my screen.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks everyone who was able to come to the site walk on Saturday. Again, I'm Kent Gannon from Stantec. Our offices are located at 55 Church Street, New Haven. So this project proposes to reconstruct the youth football field located at the Surf Club, the southern portion of Exchange Field. What that entails would be stripping the existing sod turf off of the surface, and that's indicated in the hatched area here. And if you can see my mouse, I'm kind of encirculating that area here. So what we'll do is we'll take that, remove that, strip the topsoil, and then we will regrade the area in order to correct ponarity deficiencies in the surface. If you're out there, you can see there's plenty of small little dips and valleys in the field surface. So Doesn't allow surface drainage to run off into the adjacent wetlands. What it does is it kind of pools and ponds in different spots on the field, and that leads to some turf die off and things like that. One of the other big parts of this project is the installation of a new irrigation system. The site is currently, the northern half of the site is currently irrigated. It's fed off a building that's located right here, but this football field portion, and then you'll see the survey kind of shows where we've got a lined soccer field kind of in the outfield of the softball field. This portion of the site is not irrigated, so as part of this project, we'll install new irrigation systems so that the town can properly manage and maintain this field and kind of protect their investment as needed. So the wetland is located just south of the field. North is plan left or screen left here. So the wetland's located here. So a portion of the site is located within the 100-foot regulated area. I believe it's about half an acre or so of total area in here. So we're not proposing to change the grades much in here. We're going to fairly closely match existing grades. You can kind of see one of the existing grades is dashed here, and here's our proposed grade. So it's close to it, but we will, correct some of the deficiencies in the grading out here. We've got a stockpile area proposed on the skin surface of the softball field, double layer of silt fence along the tree line limits. The site currently grades kind of southwest towards the wetland area. Kind of lastly, I guess our construction entrance is located off the existing parking lot that's just east of the field. There's a gate or a break in the fence here, so this would be our construction access point. And the last part of the project I didn't mention was, although there is no lights proposed for this project, you will see little symbols on the plans. It kind of indicates where the lights in the future could be located. We are going to install empty conduit, so that way in the future, if the lights ever do become a project, and obviously the town will have to come back, get those permitted, but we will have at least conduit underneath the new sod field. I don't know, I may have failed to mention that when we correct the deficiencies here, we will sod this field. The town is looking for a quick turnaround on this. We're trying to get the football league back out and functioning in August of this year. So as soon as we have our permits in place, we'd like to go out to bid and hopefully get a contractor on board who can complete this work so that the field can be reused in the fall. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was a great overview. Do any of the agency members have questions? I think you're muted. Oops.
I think at the site walk, there was, once the word fertilizer came up, it became kind of a potential issue with the wetlands so close. Since the site walk, has there been any research as to how to minimize fertilizer effects on the wetlands?
I can answer that. So thank you. I appreciate everybody coming out on Saturday and meeting us down at Surf Club. So I talked with our applications expert, and we in terms of in general for all of our town fields, we don't have a generic plan. We plan based off of soil testing. So every year the plan changes based off of scientific data when we come in and test the soils and get the results back. So we do as minimal an application everywhere as possible. There's some years where we don't apply at all. There's some years where we do apply. And while we're putting the sod down, that helps reduce any potential. Now that there'll be healthy growing grass on the fields, it'll sort of reduce any potential runoff into the wetland, if that is a concern. But yeah, you could rest assured that every year we test all of our soils at all of our different fields and do the most minimal amount of application required.
Okay,
So it sounds like it's one application and then the rest of the season, it's just the sprinkler system watering the grass.
Correct. We have, with the installation of the irrigation system, that in itself will help us to maintain the area. Currently, there's no irrigation there, and you see what the field looks like now. So just having irrigation itself is a huge help.
Yeah, and it'll be state-of-the-art irrigation system, right? So Austin will be able to control it from his phone if he has to. He'll be able to monitor, um, the soil conditions out there and, really recognize when it needs to be watered so we don't overwater it either. But they'll have a lot more control than what's out there, even for the northern portion of the existing site.
right, because you wouldn't want to overwater either. You would get runoff. And that's not,
Exactly. Yep.
um,
I was just going to add also, Madam Chair, that we had pulled some guidance documents or guidance information, I guess, for fertilizer application adjacent to wetlands or water courses. Yukon Clear and Nemo did a nice, reference sheet kind of giving a broader I guess, recommendations for timing of the year for applying fertilizers, as well as recommending roughly a 20-foot separating distance from any water courses. That would be something we could share with, I'm not sure if Maria sent that to you or not, but that's something we can share with Austin and his team if you'd like, or even
okay. Yeah, I think that was in the staff report, but there wasn't it was just referenced. It wasn't, I didn't see the details.
It roughly says, don't fertilize before any spring greening, and then don't fertilize again after October, mid-October. And then I do recall seeing the 20-foot separating distance, which I don't know, Kent, maybe you can kind of say where the edge of the turf is, the playing field versus the edge of the wetland.
Yeah, I can get a
I
quick
kind of feel
measurement.
like you may have some of that distance already built in. But that's all I could find from Yukon Clear or Deep. Deep regulates application of pesticides, but not necessarily fertilizer. So that's all I could find for guidance for municipalities on application of fertilizer and recommendations.
I'm pretty sure if you look at the drawing, there's definitely, I think at minimum 20 feet between the wetland and where the actual playing field begins.
Yeah, I just quickly measured the closest spot I could find, and it's 38 feet from the wetlands line to the edge of the playing field.
Okay, so if you're just fertilizing the playing field, then you're at least 20 feet away. Okay.
And I guess the only other recommendation, unless we further, as far as guidelines for the commission, if you're looking at this for future policy too, for us to research a little bit. The only other guidance I found was the timing of the year. That's helpful.
Yes, that is helpful.
So I guess the question for Aaron is when do you guys typically fertilize?
I guess that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm
So we
sorry.
definitely do,
Sorry.
we do it twice a year. And I'm pretty sure it's within those guidelines that Aaron spoke of. Because not only do you want to do it during that time of year, regulatory wise, but that's the time of year where you'll get the most benefit from it as well.
Okay.
Right. It doesn't, you shouldn't do it in the winter. The plants aren't uptaking any of that. Other questions?
Yep, only question left for Austin. How, on a month-to-month basis, how busy is this field with organized activities? Is it 4 months of the year or 6 months?
So we use Exchange Field from the minute we could get on it in end of March, beginning of April, right through Thanksgiving. So really December, January, February is a resting season, and pretty much the month of March. Unless it's a really dry winter. Getting access to any grass or clay field during the month of March is a stretch, but we do the best we can.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there other questions or comments? No? Well, we certainly can take action tonight. If you, we have our wonderful staff who have come up with, a resolution or a, proposed, action. Has anybody looked at that? Would you like me to share it?
Yeah, share it, please. I read it, but I can't get it on my computer now for some reason.
Let's see.
I can bring it up if you need it, or you got it, okay.
Okay. So, the beginning of this is what we already have heard is a summary of the project, which is great. And of course, we just had a great presentation as well. And then we have this draft resolution. And so this is, you can take a look at that. It has our standard language about being notified and having soil and erosion control measures in place, according to state guidelines. And it also has a condition of utilizing these best management practices that we have discussed tonight. Not as specifically, but referencing the two sources that Aaron mentioned. So as you look, I would entertain a motion to either approve or deny this application. And I looked
I
at the
move-
minutes, did a lot of approving. I did a lot of motioning last time, so I need some diversity here.
Well, I'll move to approve application 24-0464 Surf Club Road. And the draft resolution looks fine to me, although I question whether or not we should, in number 3, say instead of the town can use, say the town should use guidance.
That could be part of your motion.
That is part of my motion. So do I need to read it, or can I just?
I think, yeah, I think for these, we can just look at this. I think it's the ones for the public hearings with all the,
That's what I thought too.
yeah, where I have to do the 5 or 10 minutes of reading aloud.
So I vote I move that we approve 24-04 as written in the draft resolution with the change that I just mentioned, changing can to should use.
Okay,
guidance.
so we have a motion.
I will second Lee's motion. The town shall use guidance. Yes,
Okay,
I second.
so we have a second, which includes the noted word change. Are there any other issues or conditions to discuss before we vote?
Nope.
No? Everyone's okay? All right. All in favor of this resolution as stated, raise your hand, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, great. That it passes and I need to figure out how to unshare. Oh,
There you
thank
go.
you.
I stopped you.
Like I can't figure it out.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, that's great. So we're gonna make up for all the time that we don't have in April. Because our second pending application is application 24-06, 241 Neck Road. Again, we had a site walk out there on Saturday. And we have a public hearing already scheduled for April 1st, 2024. But we do have an action. We asked for a third-party wetland specialist because this is a significant activity. We asked for third-party referral, and so we need to award the contract. And so is there a particular language? Can I just move that we award our contract to Davison Environmental?
I just asked just to, because I believe Aaron mentioned it at the walk. There were 3 bids and only 1 came back.
So yes, I sent out to a minimum of 3 environmental firms requesting proposals and sending a copy of the information, associated with the application. We received 1 proposal back from them. So we followed the town's procurement guidelines in doing that. And Davison was the only one that came back, and I believe it's an estimated $3,100 for the third-party review. And a copy of that I believe is also uploaded to the application documents.
Yes.
Okay, good. So it would just be a motion to, to award the contract to Davison Environmental and let them get started in their review so that hopefully we can get some information to the applicant and have them attend our April meeting, which they'll already be at for Horse Pond, so that's convenient.
That's great. All right. Well, I'm going to move that we award this contract for our third-party consultant to Davison Environmental for review of 24-06, 241 Neck Road.
A second.
Right, Lee seconded. Any other conversation or discussion, questions?
Nope.
All right, all in favor of awarding this contract, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Abstaining?
Aye.
Okay. Great. So, we have 3 applications for receipt. And as a reminder for receipt, it is receiving these because they are received as soon as they are in by the time of the meeting. So they are received, and it is up to us to decide if we would like to do site walks or decide if we have significant activity, assuming that they've provided enough information for us to decide that. So we can start, although I think staff will have some extra information to add to these. So our first receipt is 24-07, 20 Advent Hill Road. This is a regulated activity permit for re-subdivision of lot 3 that is within 100-foot upland review area. And well,
Yeah, Aaron, did you want me to say something or? Oh,
Sure. I'm sorry. I'm in the car.
You look like
Sat
you
on my
lost it.
pen. I don't know what's happening here. I apologize. Not my ideal way of hosting a meeting here. Maria, you can, so I guess really what we need to do, the scope
clarify
of
with the
the
applicant.
request is, yes, would change from what's on the agenda. You can go ahead, Maria. That's fine.
I guess it came in as it's listed as regulated activity for a re-subdivision or regulated activity permit re-subdivision. So we're trying to clarify if it's a re-subdivision and then they need to file a regulated activity permit for the activity, or if they're doing it as both. So that's one of the things we have to figure out.
So Yes, my understanding, so when an applicant would be filing a subdivision or re-subdivision application with Planning and Zoning Commission, if there are wetlands on the property, it's mandatory that the applicant either apply to the Inland Wetlands Agency or go through the Inland Wetlands Agency either before or concurrently with the planning and zoning process. And P&Z Commission cannot take any action on a subdivision or a re-subdivision until they receive your report. What's a little misleading on the agency's current application is that you don't have a box to check that says subdivision or re-subdivision referral. So everybody checks regulated activity permit. But this is a request to re-subdivide a particular lot on Advent Hill, and then also seek a regulated activity permit for the construction of a new house. So there are two requests before you, although the agenda only references the re-subdivision. So you're going to be looking at it from first, whether or not you have any recommendations to the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding the creation of this lot. And then once you get past that, you can look at, and consider the regulated activity itself. And as we don't have any information as far as a soils report or anything like that from the wetland scientist who delineated the wetland. It's my understanding that that wetland system could be a vernal pond. So it is staff's recommendation to at least walk the site to look at it. And you may find that, after walking it and perhaps getting additional information from the applicant, that you may make further findings of whether it's a significant activity or you're requesting additional information. We just don't have that information now.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
And I assume that this is within the zoning regulations to make this a subdivision, a re-subdivision?
It would be considered a re-subdivision because the parcel was already subject to a subdivision since the adoption of the subdivision regulations. As far as meeting the minimum lot standards, I believe it does. However, I have not done a comprehensive review on the lot area and frontage, but I do believe it does check those boxes. I don't know if Maria, you had an opportunity to look at that yet or not.
It's somewhat, but not, I know the frontage, the rest of it, no.
Okay.
Okay.
I may have missed it, but what was it originally? Are they
It's one lot. And
one
so
lot
it's a through lot, basically.
I think
It's
it
a
goes to
lot.
Lantern Hill, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot that fronts on Advent Hill and also has rear frontage on Lantern Hill. So they're trying to carve off this upper portion off of Lantern Hill. However, there is a wetland system in the middle between.
Originally it was one lot and they're making it into two.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
That's what they're seeking. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be helpful to know, I mean, I'm assuming that it meets the minimum, setbacks and all of that for being able to be re-subdivided. Or
Yes, it does. I mean, there's a zoning block, a zoning chart included that,
yeah.
Looking at that, the surveyor has provided that information.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at the very least, it does, it obviously warrants a site walk, which would be great.
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah.
Given the history of
yeah.
understanding that site. Yes.
Yeah. So I would recommend, and I'm happy to hear what others think. I would recommend that we walk it. And since the frogs have already started calling, this is a great time to see vernal ponds.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, I agree.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I'm going to assume if you don't agree, anybody, you get to say.
I agree.
Our second, so we'll schedule a site walk for that. So our second one is quite nearby. It's 24-1061 Lantern Hill Road. And the applicant is wanting to put in a pool, a sports court, storage shed, patio walk, retaining wall, fencing, and landscaping within the upland review area. My understanding is that there are wetlands delineated, but they are not on the current plans. Is that right? And perhaps we'll get to see that.
Yes, so we had questions, and just through and our apologies, just through folks being out and ill. On Friday there was some confusion. So I did have an opportunity to follow up with the design engineer. Michael Ott is the design engineer. John Cunningham is the landscape designer who has submitted his design plan. Maria had told John that it needs to be, we need wetland delineation clearly, and due to the scope of work and grading, civil drawings, having an engineer involved. So John did reach out to Mike Ott, and they had the inland wetlands delineated, and they had a topographic survey done as well. I believe it was Criscolo. My apologies, it might be Gessick. Anyways, Mike has put John's plan on his civil drawings and just had a couple clarifying questions. They're meeting tomorrow, and Mike said he is submitting the civil drawings tomorrow. Did request to walk the site because there's clear that there was site grading at the time of the house being built. So you could easily see where they're going to be filling. There is going to be a retaining wall on the site that ranges in size from anywhere from 5 feet high to 10 feet high to accommodate the filling, the leveling of the yard. So it is, while you're missing some pertinent information currently, just like the last application, they're on the same street, so it might be worth just walking it. And then if the information, you're still missing information at your next meeting, you're not obligated to vote on either of these applications. However, you could, if you found that they were incomplete, or you could request additional information, or determine at that time that they would be significant activities and move forward from there. So you do have some flexibility.
Okay. Since we're going to be there, it sounds like we should probably see that one and get some exercise, get some steps. All right, so 2 sidewalk.
Were
Yeah.
the civil drawings posted, Aaron, or
No.
they're not?
No,
No.
they haven't been submitted yet. That was the question. That we only have the landscape designer's plan, which don't have that level of accuracy.
That's what I
It
thought.
is,
Yeah.
it is going to be that plan. However, you will see it on civil drawings with topography.
Right, and yeah. Okay.
Got it.
All right, so we'll do that as a site walk. And then we have our other receipt is another kind of, I guess, re-subdivision. Or well, we can talk about it. It's 24-12 2222 Durham Road. My understanding is they want to put a single family home on an existing lot that has another home.
I think this is the same thing as
Yeah.
that event.
Okay, so where it is a re-subdivision tied into a regulated activity
Yes.
permit.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the submitted survey, I didn't even know where to look. I didn't know where the activity was, but there is
Yeah.
a survey posted, and I'm like, do I look to the right, to the left? It's very
Yes,
small
so
scale.
it shows as lot number 1
Yes.
on Anderson's map. And it does show a 25-foot fee strip out to Durham Road. My understanding is that the house, the regulated activity will include a single family dwelling and an apartment, an accessory dwelling unit as part of the request, which I believe is in a detached structure. I have to confirm that with Jim Portley. who's the property owner. And Jim is also the design engineer for that. And Jim was the town engineer in Guilford for 43 years before he retired. So this is his property here. But I did know, just looking at the plan today, that the inland wetland boundary is noted as being delineated by Rich Snarsky. And I believe in conversation with Todd Anderson that Rich was out there recently. However, there are no notes on the plan that say when Rich came out and delineated the wetland or any soils report. So that's something that staff will have to follow up with Jim and ask. But again, this is a useful one, in our opinion, I think, to walk.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay. Well, I would suggest then to the other members that we do site walks for all three of our RV seats. So unless you have strong feelings against, I'm gonna just put that out there as we should probably do that.
I agree.
Yeah, I think I agree too.
Great.
My issue, I'm gonna be away the 17th through the 27th. So that's gonna kind of limit my availability, but
Yeah, and I'm actually out of town till the 20th. But I'll make sure to walk them regardless whenever it gets done.
Okay, we'll have to work on some dates then immediately.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna move briskly along. So we'll do our sidewalks. And now we have our violations. So we have 129 Green Hill Road. This is where there was clearing around a pond. We spoke with the applicant, violator, the homeowner last month, and they working with a soil scientist, a wetland soils person, and ecologist to get started on kind of cleaning up the site. And that this is on here as a check-in, I guess. Because I don't remember exactly which date we said we had to have stuff done by. I think in part it depends on the weather.
Yeah, I think we had suggested something and then you changed it. I think it was by March 1st and we gave until the 15th.
Right.
Okay. And Aaron and I had gone out to the site with the homeowner and Michelle Ford from EcoMaps and the person that they were going to be hiring to do the tree work and walk the site and they explained how they were going to be doing the work. They have started the removal on March 1st. I did not get to go out there prior to falling ill. But I heard from the homeowner and there was a significant, she said it was amazed on the amount of work that has been done and they would be back to finish on or before March 12th.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's going to be rainy this week. So
I know. We were lucky with some cold weather though, right before they came out.
yeah.
And they had proposed a number of mats to protect the area and really went over their methodology of how they were going to approach this.
they were really going to be going in from Wildcat side mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, to stay in the upland. So I'm happy to pop out there this week if because Maria won't be back probably until midweek, unfortunately. But I can swing by and take a look and see. But they seem to be on track for the March 15th, which is good.
Okay.
Has there ever been a kind of a follow-up as to why some people smelled kind of like a chemically floral smell near that brook? Because I
No,
always
I
wondered
believe
if like
so.
maybe there's like pipe going out there from their basement. It's just but that's like why would like Kia smelled like something it was like detergenty,
I don't know. I mean, Michelle Ford had never, she never noted anything.
right?
And we walked it. I think we were out there 2 different times with her
Okay.
after the violation. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Well, it could be, who knows, with those old houses, there could be one of those gray water things, like we have one at our house where all the laundry stuff goes to this, whatever,
Yeah.
this gray water holding thing that, and if, I assume if I'm, well, I have no idea. I don't use scented laundry soap. I have no idea what it smells like in my yard. But
You don't
But
go
if you
with the
use
fresh
bleach,
squeeze?
yeah, you're right. That would smell.
yeah, I don't, yeah. Okay, well, so I don't know. I think Anna actually noticed it and pointed it, and I did smell it. Several of us, I guess, smelled it, but
I know I smelled it, yeah. But then
Yeah.
you found the
Didn't s-
frog and we got distracted.
I didn't
yeah.
see a pipe, but there was something there.
Yeah, so and there, in places with a lot of water flowing through, that could also be coming from, upstream, because that was a stream, right? So,
It was some kind of a channel. Yep.
yeah, it's a water course, so, but yeah, I guess, kind of, people can keep it nose out for when they're there.
Okay. I just thought I'd
Will
ask.
do.
Yeah, no, it's
Yep.
good, but yeah, I don't, maybe the homeowner can keep his nose out. Okay, so that seems to be on track. So 22-36 Race Hill Road. This is where the construction didn't go quite as it should have, and so we suspended the permit and has some kind of benchmarks for the applicant to meet. And I believe, as I think Maria reminded me when I asked today, that the recommendation is to have, they've, I think, met everything, but to have a month of kind of site monitoring, because they can't do any work anyway until after April, and to have some site monitoring done this month before we reinstate the permit. Did I get that right?
Yes, yes, he did come in and pay his bond, which was one of the outstanding items.
Right.
He did that on Friday, and the previous conditions were, once he paid his bond and we had a month's worth of monitoring, then the April 1st meeting, you could, reinstate his permit as of May.
Okay. So I guess that's good. So I assume that he knows that we need a month of monitoring.
Yeah, we could get a letter out to him with the update. I unfortunately got the bond signed from him, and then I went out sick, so I haven't followed up with him. So,
It's my understanding that Mr. Udoff has hired Mike Ott to monitor the site as requested by the commission. And I thought he went out last week before the heavy rain that we had Friday, Saturday night. But we can also drive by as well because it's, after a half inch of rain event, excuse me, 1 inch, they should be inspecting again
Yeah.
and giving weekly reports to the agency. And then it would be our recommendation that when you go to reinstate the permit, that you amend the conditions and include this as a condition, so that continues during the construction. There's no activity now, so I don't anticipate any issues, really, any blowouts or anything like that. The site's buttoned up really tight. But it's when there's construction activity that we really want to have them out there checking
Right.
regularly.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great suggestion. And yes, it looks like we're getting a significant amount of rain. The rest, just looking at rainfall for this week, it looks like we're getting maybe up to an inch or so.
Yeah.
So, okay, well then that sounds good as well. Yay. Okay,
Excellent. Right
we're
along.
gonna keep moving very quickly here. So our section 13s, these are all administrative approvals. And I'm assuming, because we have such great staff, that they were all pretty simple and basic and all taken care of.
yes, site visits were done, plans were reviewed. Yes, all the things.
All the things. Excellent. Okay. We're gonna keep moving to correspondence. It looks like we have some pesticide applications at Green Hill. I assume that's a town property. Is that right?
I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know what is that one, Maria?
I was just gonna say the same thing. I think it was, I don't know what that
Can you
was.
click it?
No, it's not click,
Yeah, no, I
think-
clicked it. This is DEP
Mole Queen.
Stall Holdings. Um,
That's not a town project.
no,
Because the only
Green Hill.
thing on Green Hill for the town are schools, and I thought they were pesticide free.
This is 234 Green Hill Road.
That's
That's
not a
okay.
town property.
No, so this is a pond.
Joel Holdings 234. Although that's a,
And it goes
like
into,
that's a list of abutting properties, primary contact.
so this, it goes into the Neck River.
These are one of these frustrating things that DEEP regulates them and sends notice by law to the local agency where we
Yes.
have no
So we
Well,
can't do
authority.
anything.
No,
we have an
you can write a
opportunity to,
strongly worded letter to DEEP that
Yeah.
you disagree, but that's
we
about
can,
it.
That's
we can
about
air
it, yeah.
grievances.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
so-
right. You can air your grievances.
Yeah. So- yeah, I guess so that's really interesting. I haven't seen very many of these, but they're putting it into a
Yeah,
pond.
sometimes they're like by the railroad bridges and whatnot that they,
So
they spray and they let you know.
yeah, and I don't know if you historically saw these,
No.
but it is it is law that DEEP, anytime they issue permits for pesticide application, that there's a notification requirement to the local agency. In Guilford, we used to just forward them to the commission all the time, and the commission, spoke that it was their the local poisoning updates, and at times would write letters to DEEP about it,
Okay,
but really we don't have any authority over the application of pesticides.
well, it's interesting.
It
So I
does
just looked
fall
it
within
up.
DEEP.
This is right next to the Neck River. It's right north of where the new school is supposed to go. So it's pretty close to the Neck River. So we can talk about
That's
this.
right on the bend then, by
Yep.
Warpus.
Yep. Well, yes, yes. Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it would be worth following up with DEEP to say, the Neck River, we've talked about this in different contexts being, pretty important river. It's the only river that starts and ends in our town and has been highlighted as having water quality issues that we want to mitigate. So adding pesticide to a pond that drains pretty close, according to these aerial photos, seems challenging. Anyway, maybe we can talk about that, or I don't know, I can research that. That doesn't seem like you should be able to do that. That doesn't seem to make sense that you can just dump pesticides into something, because our second pesticide state water is 15 Bayview Terrace.
Yeah, that's a mosquito
Yes.
control. Yeah.
Well, I was first gonna say, I looked at the map that, I clicked my way in, and it looks like that pond is like within the Neck River.
Yeah, no,
Like
Is
the
it-
Neck,
it's right there. It's
the Neck River comes in, there's a pond, and then it leaves.
yeah,
Mhm.
it doesn't, it's, yeah,
So I think that should get a letter
yeah,
of concern.
yeah,
Yeah.
if that's possible, I think
Is this for aquatic? This is
no,
aquatic
this
plants?
is, we are still back. He was talking about Green Hill, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I had to say something about Green Hill before we moved on.
Yeah,
That one looks like it's a created pond within the Neck River. Or,
It may have been a farm pond initially, the property.
so can you see that? It's this, and you can see the Neck Rivers right here.
Yeah, it is the pond adjacent to the new school
Yeah.
site.
Oh, yep.
Well, yeah. It would be nice to understand their thinking more directly on that.
We can get a little more information from Deep as far as the program and the referrals and how, what, if anything, the commission can do to voice their opinion.
Yeah.
At least kind of give you.
So
Well,
are these,
yeah.
so is this like specifically, was this somebody like a
This
like
is it looks
private
like a
property?
it's private
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, it's private property. Mhm.
Did
Most
this-
of them that you'll see are private property.
Aaron, do these typically come with a cover letter or something, or do they just show up in
How they,
in your
what
office?
we got is what you see, yeah.
Huh.
Just because they're just as a courtesy letting us know that they're poisoning the aquatics in our town. Sounds
Now you're catching on.
like, oh, okay, I get it. So yeah, well, which is, interesting given to have a whole regulatory structure around in the wetlands.
Are these the first two we've? I don't remember ever seeing these. So have they just started showing up?
No, they
Okay.
probably just weren't. They come to the land use office all the time, or they have historically. It's not a new law by any means. But it's probably just the first time that we, as we were receiving them, we just add them onto the agenda for correspondence, so you're aware of them. But there's a requirement that they notify the local agency, that they will be making an application of pesticides.
And it
But
looks like
they
20
never go through a local review process.
looks like 23 gallons of whatever they want to put in there.
I think
Right.
It's on
And
the
so it's not
application.
why, why do they want to do it and what's this, is there a standard they have to meet, Well, anyway.
Deep regulates, they have certain pesticides that they allow and the application rates and all of that is closely regulated through Deep, but they do allow the use of pesticides for the treatment, excuse me, of invasives.
Okay. Well, for that Green Hill one in particular, because it's so tied to the Neck River, that just seems anyway, it would be great to find out more and see if we can be all strongly worded somewhere.
I'm wondering, would there be a way to have a deep person come in and talk to us for like 15, 20 minutes about how these are approved and what are they looking for us to do? Or do you think you can
They're
get
not
that?
looking for you to do anything.
No,
They're just notifying
they're just saying we
you
did
that
this
they're
thing.
doing something.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna go do this thing in your town, to your wetlands. And we'll just let you know. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all it is.
Or well,
that's
yeah,
what it is. Not all it is.
Yeah. Well, I guess with respect to, the Neck River has a lot of designations as a special river under a lot of biodiversity and aquatic designations under the state. So, it'd be worthwhile understanding better why they think that was okay. Whatever. Okay, but it sounds like
As an impaired water course, yeah. Which I thought that I don't know if they vary regulations based on the quality of adjacent. That's a good question. We can get some of that information. We'll have to call the office that handles the pesticide permitting and get some more information for you.
it would be worthwhile understanding. Yes, what
Sure.
exactly.
Invite them to our next Zoom.
Yeah, they can come sit in on all the public hearings.
I'm not sure you're going to get them to an evening meeting.
No, I'm sure we're not. Okay, so the approval of minutes. I read through the minutes, all 12 pages, and it seemed to capture the meeting pretty well. Did anybody have anything that they
Admittedly, I read them fast, but I didn't see anything. They looked like they were exactly the way I remembered it anyway. Remembered
Yes,
it.
that's what I felt too. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep, no issues here.
So
Okay,
I move we approve the regular meeting minutes of our February 5th meeting.
Second.
Ninth? Yep.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay, remarks? I have no remarks. My personal goal tonight is to end this meeting by 8 o'clock.
Good.
Excellent. I
That
have
is my
one
goal.
quick update. So that we can go quickly. We, just so you know, just near this pesticide treatment, the school, the new elementary school project will begin this week. I don't know if any of you are on the updates from the first select woman, but, they will be out there. They're installing silt fence. They are, putting up construction fence and will begin some clearing. They will not do any soil work until, they meet, one of the conditions of your approval, which is to identify their soil and erosion control expert who's going to be monitoring the site during all construction activities. But I did have a conversation with the construction team, Gil Bain, and know who will be out on the job trailer all, throughout the construction process. So mostly Maria, but if Maria's unavailable, I'll be able to go out there, and we'll check in weekly on their status and keep you updated if we have any issues. But that's one of our biggest projects here that's going to be underway.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to share in the next 4 minutes? Or less?
Or less.
No, I'll have Michelle shoot out some dates for you guys tomorrow for the site walks.
Yeah, that'd be great. Soon we
Only
can see.
because usually we only get like 3 people, so 2 of you aren't gonna be around. We want to try to get the most we can get.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Nice. You did that, Martin.
Martin is back.
Yeah.
I've been
anybody-
here.
Anybody second? I'll second. We're all gonna second. All right. All in favor? Raise your hand, say aye.
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 Yay,
here.
nicely done, everybody. All righty. See you at the
Thank
site
Excellent.
you.
or next.
Thanks all.
All right.